I'm going to ask some questions of my friend and co-teacher here. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Joy Habon. I'm teaching at Punping Pitayakon School. That's a government school. I'm teaching Matsuyam students, and I've been teaching here in Thailand for 7 years.
So here are some questions that is related to my field study requirement. My question for you, as a secondary teacher, what are the factors you consider when choosing a teaching method?
The first thing I consider is the students' level, their level of English, like their proficiency level. Especially for me, I teach mostly, my classes are on listening and speaking.
Okay.
So I consider their level of proficiency.
Okay, thank you. Next question, what is the best teaching method for you?
I don't have a particular method that I'd say the best one because it's quite difficult, especially with the kind of students that I have. The students' mood changes from time to time. But what I try to create is an active learning method where the students engage. They don't just sit down and listen to you, copy what's on the board, just like the traditional methods.
How would you assess your student?
This is actually a very difficult question because assessing Thai students in the level of English that they have is very difficult. So it's more on giving them enrichment activities.
Oh, yeah.
When I see that like maybe half or 75% of the students already understood or learned the lesson or the topic, so that's when I give them like a test.
Have you been using like rubrics or something like for their strength or weaknesses?
I use it to assess or evaluate their learning.
Here is my final question. How do you define yourself being an effective teacher to your students?
Being an effective teacher to my students, I define myself by how well can my students like communicate in the real life when they're able to converse or talk to me or to other foreigners in English, then I'd say I'm an effective teacher because I made them talk.
So, thank you very much for your time, for sharing your knowledge, your experiences.
Glad to be of help. Have a nice day too.
Bye. A pleasant morning to each and everyone. My name is Ms. Irisley Bibat. I am going to ask some questions about my field study requirement. Here's my co-teacher, my friend. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Ed and I work at Suratani School. I teach Mathayum 1s and Mathayum 2 and I also work with Andrew Biggs Academy.
How long have you been teaching?
Including my experience in the Philippines, it should be around 10 years
10
now.
years, wow. Awesome, 10 years.
Yeah,
A decade.
it's too long, but then it feels like it was just yesterday when I
Okay.
started teaching.
Okay, here's my first question. As a teacher, how can you create an effective learning environment towards your students?
An effective learning environment meaning it's very conducive for learning and the students are comfortable and they're not pressured to learn. In my class, I ask my students their interests, whatever they like in the class, and if I have those basic idea and basic information, I can turn the class into something that would make them interested.
Moving on, question number 2. Can you describe the learning environment of your classroom, or how do you manage your students in a positive manner?
So they should be speaking more than us speaking.
So that's very true.
Yeah, you can speak like 30% of the whole 1 hour, but the 70% they should be the ones speaking.
So like it's a performance learning base?
Yes. In my class, we always think positive. So we start with our science class creed. We always remind ourselves that the goal for our science is to make our parents, ourselves, and everybody happy. So if you start with a positive energy, then everyone would be adapting and they would absorb that positive energy and your class would be very smooth. So one tip I can give to those teachers out there who is looking for a very positive and very conducive classroom atmosphere is that you should know your students well, and you should not start right away with the lesson. You have to warm up and you have to build trust and rapport with your student. When you earn their trust, it will be so easy to teach them anything.
Yes, that is very much true. I mean,
Yeah.
you should have like a freezer to start up
True.
the class, right?
Mhm.
In your own opinion, are teachers responsible for students' behavior? Why or why not?
Yes, the teachers are responsible for the students' behavior because, yeah, unlike the saying that says you can bring the horse near the water but you cannot force them to drink. Actually, it's not true. The real thing is that you can put salt in the horse's food so that they can be very thirsty, and when you bring them to the water, they will drink a lot. So the teachers plays a very important role in making the students interested and making them motivated to study your class.
Okay, this is my final question. How do you define yourself being an effective teacher to your students?
Yeah, being an effective teacher means a lot of things. When the students know and understand what you've been teaching them, because it doesn't actually depend on the teacher. You would see that you're an effective teacher if the students learn something from you.
Yeah.
If they forget everything about your lesson, that it doesn't mean you're effective. I'll always say in my class is that this class is not about me, it's about you. So the students are the stars of the class, and they're the ones learning, not us learning.
And also, as teachers, we are now the enabler and facilitators. Unlike before that we just like discuss.
Yes, and the students just listen. So yeah, it's an active part with both sides.
Yes, so thank you very much for sharing your time, your knowledge, expertise in this field of teaching. And this is a big help, in my field study requirement.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, she deserves a grade A. Give her the highest score you can give.
Thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye.